So, good afternoon to all my dear students. We have started the session 2 of the unit number 1 electromagnetism, and in that particular session we have seen the various terms of magnetic domain. So, I will revise all the terms which we have seen in the last session. The first term is the magnetic field. In the magnetic field we have seen it's a region, okay, around the magnet in which the influence of the magnet can be experienced with the help of compass needle or using another magnet in the vicinity of the magnet. So it is the distance at which you can have the experience that the U-pins jump from the tabletop and attach to your magnetic tip. That the example we have discussed in the last time. Okay. Then the second term we have discussed, that is magnetic lines of force. So magnetic lines of force we have discussed many points. So let's have the discussion of those points. What the points we have seen. All the magnetic lines of the force are the imaginary lines. Then every line starts from N pole to S pole through the external side of the magnet, and from S pole to N pole through the internal side of the magnet. Then all lines are parallel, they don't intersect to each other, and each lines prefer shortest path. The line which prefers shortest path is having highest magnetic strength, and the line which is far from the magnetic bar or the magnet bar is having the weaker magnetic strength. Okay. And why they prefer shortest path? Because they don't want large air resistance which they have to face when they are passing through the air. Then the magnetic flux. Magnetic flux is what? It is denoted by phi. So it is nothing but total number of magnetic lines of force existing in a particular magnetic field is called as a magnetic flux, and it is measured in Weber and denoted by phi, and 1 Weber is equal to 10 raised to 8 lines of force. It means this N pole, when it will radiate 10 raised to 8 lines of magnetic force, it's called as, it is having the pole which is having the magnetic flux is equal to 1 Weber. 10 raised to 8 means 1. There are 8 zeros on 1. These many flux lines are radiating from N pole, and 10 raised to 8 lines are accepting by the S pole. When it is so, it is called as a 1 Weber flux present in this particular magnetic field. Then we have seen the pole strength. Now what is the pole strength? The pole strength is nothing but every magnetic pole has a capacity to radiate or accept the number of lines of magnetic flux, which is called as the pole strength. So N pole is having radiating pole strength, and S pole is having the accepting magnetic lines. So accepting pole strength, I will say. So N pole is always radiates and S pole always accepts. So if 10 raised to 8 lines are radiating from N pole, we will say N pole is having the pole strength of 1 Weber, and if S pole accepting 10 raised to 8 lines of magnetic force, then we will say S pole is having 1 Weber accepting pole strength. Okay. And as the pole strength is depends on number of magnetic lines, it is also measured in Weber. So it is directly proportional to magnetic flux phi, and unit of magnetic pole strength is also Weber, because they measured in terms of number of magnetic lines of force. So N pole is having radiating pole strength, which is measured in Weber, and S pole is having pole strength of accepting magnetic lines, which is also measured in Weber. Okay. Now the next term is magnetic flux density, which is denoted by B. Now B is depends on magnetic flux, that is phi, and it is depends on some another parameter also. So anybody knows magnetic flux density? If no, please give me the answer. Magnetic flux density B, what is that? In physics you have covered that, or you all know that. Yes, you can.
Magnetic flux per unit area.
Yes, very good. Magnetic flux density is magnetic flux per unit area. What is the name of you, dear?
Aditi Bhalekar.
Aditi Bhalekar. Very good answer, Aditi. So magnetic flux density is nothing but total number of magnetic flux lines per unit area. So if we will see this particular image, in this we have taken two magnetic pole, one is the N pole, another one is the S pole. N pole is radiating magnetic flux lines and S pole is accepting magnetic flux lines. Now in this particular image, just assume that N pole is radiating 100 lines and S pole is accepting 100 lines of magnetic force. And in between there is a green cardboard I have inserted, which is having the unit area. Unit area means what? It is having the area of 1 meter square. So this green cardboard which we have inserted in the path of a magnetic flux lines in such a way that this board is having its plane which is right angle to the flow of flux lines, or which is perpendicular to the flow of flux lines, and the area of that plane is 1 meter square. So through this area or through this plane, suppose 50 lines are passing. Out of 100, only 50 lines are passing through this green cardboard plane which is having 1 meter square area. Then how will I define magnetic flux density? The magnetic flux density is the amount of magnetic flux passing through the unit area taken perpendicular to direction of magnetic flux. So mathematically how we will express it? Mathematically we will express it B is equal to phi by A. What is phi? Number of flux lines. What is A? A is the area of that particular plane which we have taken in a perpendicular direction to the flow of magnetic flux lines. So the unit of magnetic flux density is Weber per meter square. Why Weber per meter square? Because flux phi measured in Weber and area measured in meter square. So phi by A gives me the unit Weber per meter square. Weber per meter square is also called as Tesla, which is denoted by capital T. So 1 Weber per meter square is also called as a 1 Tesla. So in this particular example, what I said, that N pole is radiating 100 flux lines and S pole is accepting 100 flux lines, and in that we have inserted green cardboard which is having 1 meter square area, and out of 100 flux lines only 50 flux lines passing through this green cardboard plane. So what is the flux density of this example? What is the flux density of this example? Yes. What is the number I'll get for flux density B over here?
50 Tesla.
Very good. 50 Tesla, 50 Tesla or 50 Weber per meter square. What is the name of you here?
Yashraj.
Yashraj. Very good answer. Okay. So Yashraj has calculated exact answer that the flux density of this particular example is 50 Tesla or 50 Weber per meter square. Okay. So now the next is magnetomotive force. What is magnetomotive force? There are two forces we are seeing in general in physics. You might have come across that MMF and EMF. MMF is called as a magnetomotive force and EMF is called as a electromagnetic force. EMF we deals with electrical circuits and MMF we deals with magnetic circuit. So now the unit is going on with the magnetic domain. So we will see the magnetomotive force. So magnetomotive force is MMF. So how you will define MMF? Can you try, anyone? Yes. How will I define magnetomotive force? This image may help you. How will you define magnetomotive force? Now here, suppose in this particular image, assume that we have connected 5-volt battery. Okay, this 5-volt battery, say suppose giving me 0.1 ampere current. Okay, this 5-volt battery is giving me 0.1 ampere current, and when this 0.1 ampere current flowing through this particular wire, blue wire, which is having say 10 tons. Okay, I'll repeat again. This is the image in which the battery is connected. This battery, say it is 5 volt. This 5-volt battery is giving me 0.1 ampere current, and this 0.1 ampere current is passing through 10 tons. Suppose there are 10 tons. Okay, there are more than 10 tons, but assume that these are 10 tons. Okay, so this 0.1 ampere current, when it is flowing through this 10 number of tons, it is attracting 10 U pins at N pole as well as 10 U pins at S pole. Okay, now if I will do some changes, that instead of 5-volt battery, if I have connected 10-volt battery, instead of 5-volt battery, now I have increased the voltage of the battery, say it is 10 volt. So what will be the effect? What will be the effect? If I have replaced 5 volt by 10 volt, what will be the effect? Current will be 0.1 ampere, will be less than 0.1 ampere, or will be greater than 0.1 ampere? Yes, give me the answer. Hello, am I audible to all?
Yes, ma'am. Please can you repeat the question?
If the battery, which is of 5 volt, will be
Okay.
replaced by 10 volt.
Yes.
Now we are increasing the magnitude of the voltage. Okay. So
Yes.
when battery was 5 volt, the current flowing through the wire was 0.1 ampere.
Okay.
Now if we are replacing the battery with 10 volt, then the current will be equal to 0.1 ampere, less than 0.1 ampere, or greater than 0.1 ampere.
Greater than 0.1 ampere.
Very good. Greater than 0.1 ampere. Okay, it means as we have increased the battery capacity, as we have increased the magnitude of voltage, we have increased the supply current. Okay. Now suppose the supply current is now doubled from 0.1 ampere, now it is 0.2 ampere. So what will be the effect on the number of U pins attached or number of U pins attracted? Will be increase or will be decrease?
Increase.
Increase, exactly. Now this electromagnet will be able to attract more number of U pins at its end. Why? Because we have increased current. How we have increased current? By increasing the battery voltage. Okay, that is one. Second, now here suppose this wire is having 10 tons. Instead of now 10 tons, if I have increased say 50 tons, I have increased say 50 tons. Okay, so when I am increasing 50 tons, what will happen? What will happen? Yes. Again, the magnetic effect will increase or will decrease. If the number of tons we are increasing, then what will happen in this particular experiment? Will increase. Why it will increase? Why it will increase? Because when we are increasing number of turns of magnetizing coil is nothing but ultimately we are increasing the length of magnet. Okay, are you able to understand? Length of magnet. Because number of turns decides how much is the effective length of nail is going to act as a magnet. So when I am taking only 1 ton, very short part of the nail is going to act as a magnet. When I am taking 10 tons, it will say half of the part of the nail is acting as a magnet. When I am taking 50 tons around the nail body, then the effective length, magnetic length I am telling, then the effective length of magnetic path or effective magnetic length of that nail I am going to increase. So if the magnetic length is going to increase, the magnetic strength of that nail is going to increase. If the magnetic strength of that nail is going to increase, it means what? It will attract more number of U pins at its end. So finally, what is magnetomotive force? In magnetomotive force, now just see, the second image gives you what? The second image gives you when 10 tons were there, say there are 5 magnetic lines. There are 5 magnetic lines. When there are 50 tons, there will be 100 magnetic lines. I will repeat. When there are 10 tons around the nail, it was only giving 5 magnetic lines around the nail. But when I have taken 50 tons, it was giving me 100 magnetic lines. So if number of magnetic lines will increase, obviously magnetic strength of that particular magnet will increase. It means nothing but we are increasing magnetomotive force of that particular magnet. So how will I define magnetomotive force? So in magnetic domain, the flow of flux is due to MMF, and it determines the magnetic field strength, and it is also a driving force in a magnetic circuit. So it is nothing but what? MMF is nothing but a driving force in a magnetic circuit. And how will I calculate it? I will calculate MMF by taking the product of N into I. What is N? N is number of turns of magnetizing coil. So as I am increasing number of turns of magnetizing coil, I can increase MMF. As I am increasing MMF, I can increase number of magnetic lines of force. So when I am taking 10 turns, it is giving me only 5 lines of magnetic force. But when I am taking 50 turns, it is giving me 100 lines of magnetic force. So MMF is directly proportional to N. Another parameter is I. What is I? I is the current flow through the coil. So when I am taking 0.1 ampere in the wire, when I am taking 0.1 ampere in the wire, it is giving me only 5 magnetic lines. But when I am taking 0.2 ampere current in the wire, it is giving me 100 lines of magnetic force. Means exactly it is going to be increased. So number of turns of number of turns of magnetizing coil and current flow through that magnetizing coil decides the magnitude of magnetomotive force, and magnetomotive force is directly proportional to N as well as I. So what will be the unit of MMF? Can anyone give me answer? What will be the unit?
Ampere.
Ampere turn, not only ampere. It is called as the ampere turn. Why ampere turn? Because I measures in ampere and number of turns measures in turn. So ampere turn, one way. Or another way, it is also called as only ampere. If the terms are not going to consider, okay, in some books it is given in only in ampere, but in the original pattern it is called as ampere turn. So MMF is either measured in ampere turn or measured in ampere. Okay. Now the next term is magnetic field strength, which is denoted by H. Now in magnetic field strength H, just see, it measures what? It measures the strength of magnetic field. It measures strength of magnetic field. It measures strength of magnetic field. So how it defines? It defines as the force exerted by unit N pole when placed at any point in a magnetic field. Means this magnetic field strength is calculated by the force exerted by N pole. What N pole do? N pole radiates magnetic flux lines. So when this N pole we are placing at any point in a given magnetic field, then how much is the force exerted by that N pole is called as what? Is called as the magnetic field strength. Now unit N pole means what? Unit N pole means it is a pole which is having a pole strength of 1 Weber. Now pole strength of 1 Weber means what? It is a unit N pole which is having a pole strength of 1 Weber, means this N pole will radiate 10⁸ lines of magnetic force. That is called as a unit N pole. So at that unit N pole, when we are placing at this particular point in a given magnetic field, and if it is giving me a force of say 1 Newton or 2 Newton, then that particular force is called as the magnetic field strength of that particular point in a given magnetic field. And how will you calculate it? It is denoted by H. It is equal to N into I divided by L. Now previously we have expressed MMF. So magnetic field strength is also called as, it is the ratio of MMF to the length of magnetic path. See, two ways we can define. One, it is defined as the force exerted by unit N pole when placed at any point in a magnetic field, or H is also expressed in the ratio. What is the ratio? It is the ratio of MMF to the length of magnetic path. What is MMF? MMF is Ni. That is product of N into I. And what is L? L is the length of magnetic path. So in the last class I asked you the question, if we are taking any magnetic line which is having a shortest path, then we used to call that this particular shortest line, which is very close to the magnetic bar, is having higher magnetic strength, and the magnetic line which is far from the magnetic bar or which is far from the magnet is having lower magnetic strength. Now I think you might have got your answer. The line which is closer to the magnet is having less, or it is having a small length. As it is having a small length, because h is inversely proportional to the length, then obviously for that particular line which is having closer to the magnet is having a higher magnetic strength. But the line which is very far from the magnet is having a high length, or which is having a large length of magnetic path. So the magnetic strength of that particular flux line is smaller, or it is weakened, I will say. The strong magnetic strength you will get for the lines which are very close to the magnetic bar, and the weaker magnetic strength you will get for the lines which are very far from the magnetic bar. And as per its ratio, the unit of magnetic field strength is ampere turn per meter, or ampere per meter, or Newton per Weber. I will repeat, unit of magnetic field strength is ampere turn per meter, because Ni is ampere turn divided by L in meter. So ampere turn per meter. Another one is ampere per meter, and last one is Newton per Weber. Okay, so these are the 7 terms are very important in magnetic domain. So hereafter in all numerical examples we are going to use these all 7 terms. Okay, so these are the 7 terms we have seen till now: magnetic field, then the magnetic lines of force, magnetic flux, pole strength, magnetic flux density, magnetomotive force, and magnetic field strength or magnetic field intensity also. Magnetic field strength is also called as the magnetic field intensity.